Hey everyone, today I wanted to show you how I sharpen my chisels. So you'll see me using a whetstone here, and the first process is to flatten the stone with a flattening block. You'll see that darker crease down the middle. It's kind of a high traffic area from a previous sharpening of the chisels, so I'm just going to try and flatten that out as best I can. Once you get the stone flat, you take the bottom side of the chisel and you work it up and down on the stone until you get it as flat as you can. In this case, I'll show the camera a few times. There's a little pocket in the bottom of this chisel. It's kind of indented and it takes a lot of work and a lot of time to completely flatten it out. I did my best here. As long as you get that front half of the chisel, that front part of the cutting edge polished, you'll cut just fine. Little dips and pockets throughout the back side of the bottom of the chisel aren't going to play any factor when you're actually using the tool, but they just are kind of an eyesore, so I do my best to flatten them out. Once I get the backside of this chisel pretty well flat, the first ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch is completely flat, and that makes for your sharp cutting edge. I'll flip the chisel over and use my honing guide and put that micro bevel on it. Here I'm just checking that micro bevel. You'll see that it's not perfectly the same bevel all the way across, and that's just because I had uneven pressure when I was sharpening. So to counter that, you just add a little bit more pressure to the side that didn't have as large of a micro bevel on it. You'll just see me with my finger, and you just kind of put pressure towards that corner, and it should help you even things out. Alright, now that I have that micro bevel established, it's time to refine it a little bit. So I'm going to switch over to my 1000 grit side of the stone. You can polish them a lot further than this. I just have this combo block, and it's all I have on hand, and I get my chisels pretty darn sharp with just 1000 grit. But if you want to polish them even further, you can go up to several thousands of grit. It's just kind of a personal preference. Since I already flattened the back of this chisel with 400 grit, you don't have to spend nearly as much time on it with the higher grits. I just simply want to get the backside to the same polish as the front. So once I achieve that, I'll flip the chisel back over and start working on the bevel again. Now that we have the backside polished, we simply flip the chisel over and start polishing that micro bevel a little bit further. You just kind of enhance the cutting edge and it'll make it even sharper yet. So I'll work on that micro bevel a little bit longer, and then the final step is actually to just remove the little bit of a burr you create on the backside of the chisel again. So you just run the backside of the chisel on the whetstone I just swipe 2 times in the direction towards me, and that kind of removes, if there is any curl or burr that gets curled over the metal, you just remove that burr, and then your chisel is going to be razor sharp. And here's the final shot of that micro bevel. You can kind of see how it has that mirrored finish on it. This chisel is razor sharp. I should mention that this chisel was used and abused. I actually used it to get glue and epoxy off of one of my workstations. So that's why this method took so long for me to finish. Now that I have everything flat and dialed in, I'll be able to reestablish that bevel in half the time.